What is going on? I am Cole, and I am here to talk about my most anticipated comics for March 16th, 2022, and I'll get to those right after this. My most anticipated comics for March 16th, 2022. Alright, and for those of you who are new here, thank you for coming. And for those of you who aren't, thank you for sticking around through that. One of the things I like to go over in this video is where I get my information from. So I use the website League of Comic Geeks. Some people, the good thing about this is that there is a good amount of stuff here. You can see kind of what's coming out, what is supposed to be coming out, and it's just an easy way to find all of the books for these kind of videos. The one thing I will say is I do record these on either Thursday or Friday. So the one thing that does happen occasionally is that these aren't always correct. Sometimes there are issues with delays. Sometimes a book gets pushed back. So some of these books that I might talk about had the possibility to be delayed, unfortunately. And yeah, I just want to let you know that so that if you go to your shop and you say, you know what, Cole from Cole's Comic Claim told me about these books. Why aren't they out? That is the main reason. Sometimes we don't always get these books, but I just like to preface with that and let you know that there is a good resource out here for you to figure out what books you want to read during the week. One thing I do like to add is that in each of these videos, at the end of the month, I usually do a drawing for some of the, I pick up a few extra comics and I do a drawing at the end of this. Every video that we get 15 comments in, I will be shipping out books, an extra book for every week, and all of those comments get you entered into the drawing. The one thing I will say is that I try to make these so that they're either in like the US or Canada, shipped out to, or to make sure, you know, some of these books that I'm going to give out are a more mature theme. So if you are a younger person with a channel, I might just make sure that your parents are okay with me sending these comics to you. And the other is just, yeah, leave a comment. Let me know either what you're most anticipated for or which book of mine you thought sounds cool to you. And yeah, we'll go from there. Another thing is I did end up having my second Whatnot action last Sunday. And because of Skeff, he actually did a cool push where he was trying to get a bunch of people to follow each other. I ended up getting to 200 followers on Whatnot. So if you are here and you have not followed me on Whatnot, my link is down below. If you have no idea what Whatnot is, it is a new auction style platform. And yeah, you kind of sell all your stuff. The one thing I like about it is that as a seller, I can move a bunch of books in a fairly short amount of time. And yeah, it's usually pretty quick to get paid. So the one thing that, yeah, you know, if you have not signed up, there is a referral link below, or if you have, you can just find me there. You can do anything on there. I know that there's people selling vinyl, there's people selling pops, there's cards, there's comics, there's a lot of stuff on this platform. I think it's going to be a new way that people are going to buy and sell. And if you are wanting to get into there on selling, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram. They have recently started a new referral program where you can start referring sellers, and yeah, once sellers start selling, the person that referred them makes some money back. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can either try and hook you up and get in there. But yeah, hit me up on Instagram or something and we can talk about how we could get you into that. For a while, I was separating like the segment for my favorite cover or some spec recommendation. And unfortunately, you know, this week there isn't a ton of specs, so I'm kind of going to bring those back together. The one cover that I'm kind of the most pumped about for this week is going to be a ratio cover, unfortunately. But for Batman Superman World's Finest, there is two 1 in 25 incentive covers. They both depict the meme of Batman slapping Robin, but between Superman and Batman, I'll kind of have them both going over, you know, over here. And yeah, I really like this cover. I think it's funny when they take like pop culture memes and make those into covers. And I think that Chip Zdarsky really killed it with this one. And yeah, I think that, you know, overall there are a ton of amazing covers for this series, but these were the ones that kind of stuck out just because I personally really like when they do kind of a meme. thing on these covers, and I thought they were pretty funny. But yeah, let me know what you think is the best cover coming out, because a lot of the times I miss some of these covers. I try and stay, completely in the A cover gang when it comes to it, but occasionally I see some covers that I want to get, and this one was the first one that really popped up out to me as I was looking through all of these new covers. All right, and what you have all been waiting for is my most anticipated picks for comics coming out this week. So I'm going to start this one off with one that probably should not be too much of a surprise for people, but it is the Silver Coin #2. This one is going to be written and illustrated by Michael Walsh, and if you know about this issue or this book, is that Michael Walsh has been doing all the art for all of this, but at the end of each arc he actually will write part of it. So this is his second writing into this book, and from what I can tell by the cover, I haven't really read too much into the synopsis because I like to be surprised on some of these things. The Silver Coin is a book, like, it is a horror anthology if you do not know about it. But the one thing that's cool that Michael Walsh seems to be doing, from what I can tell from the cover, is that he might be revisiting some of his characters. This kind of the big thing about the Silver Coin is that it has its own kind of universe where everyone lives, but as all these writers are writing different stuff, they come in different time periods, in different locations. His might be the first time that we're starting to see a big interaction with one big story. I know, there have been hits where, the ring kind of makes its way through other people, and so it kind of leans back into these stories, but I think this might be the first time that we're really building on the same story, from what I can tell by this cover. But have you been enjoying Silver Coin as much as I have? I know that it has had some up and downs, but I think with all anthology style books, you are bound to get an issue that you may not like occasionally. So I think 8 out of 10 of these I've really enjoyed. 8, maybe 7 out of 9, because I'm probably going to enjoy this one. But yeah, this is the Silver Coin #10, written by Michael Walsh on Image Comics, and I am really pumped for this one. So I am not sure if I have talked about this book every single week that it came out, but I'm pretty sure that I have been talking about this book every week that it comes out. And that's What's the Furthest Place from Here, #5. This is written by a team that I really enjoy in Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss. Most of these issues have been a little bit longer than your standard comic. And the funny thing is, as it says in this blurb, is that this is an appropriate size 5th issue. This is a book that kind of deals with this very weird thing going on. It's definitely post-apocalyptic, which is kind of a genre that I don't necessarily love, but I've really been enjoying the idea of how they write with this. It's kind of got this Warriors vibe where there's kids, and all these kids only survive, and they don't really know what happens with adults, but there's these weird figures that kind of take them off. And yeah, they've just been missing one of their friends, and they're trying to find her, as she is the first person to get pregnant. Yeah, this definitely has some vibes to the Warriors for me. And yeah, Tyler Boss really killed it last year. Dead Dog's Bite was one of my favorite books, and him and Matthew Rosenberg wrote a book called 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, which came out from Black Mass, which is almost a masterpiece. I would highly recommend it. It would probably be in my top 10 to 15 comics, that I've read, and I really love it. It's one of the few books that I really go back to every year or so to read. So yeah, I would recommend checking this book out if you haven't. It's probably not worth going and getting all these issues unless you can find them at your shop for fairly cheap, but I'm guessing a trade should be coming out. The one thing I've been even doing with this is that they do come with vinyl records. I've been pre-ordering these online though, just so I can secure that copy, because they have been a little bit harder to get, but I'm excited for when I get all of those vinyls with these issues, because I think that'll be a lot of fun to listen to. So have you been reading What's the Furthest Place from Here? And if so, do you enjoy it as much as I do, or am I kind of crazy on this one? All right, and for those of you who are fairly new or looking for new series, this is the segment for you, because now I'm going to talk about only stuff that is coming out in #1s, and the first one up is Batman Superman World's Finest #1. I already talked about this for cover of the week that I'm really excited for, but the creative team on this one is Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This was one of those books I know a while back I said, if you put Dan Mora on a Batman book, there's no reason for me to not get it. Dan Mora is one of my favorite artists when it comes to just, straight comic book art. If you've read Once and Future, that's kind of his big staple. He also did a book called Claws with Grant Morrison that was very awesome. And yeah, I just love his style of art, especially when it comes to kind of superheroes or action adventure type stuff. So, putting him in another Batman book is something I get. I know that there is a lot of oversaturation of the Batman in the DC universe, and that while trying not to get extra books in the Batman world, I feel like Superman, Batman World Finest is kind of more of a staple classic book. And, it also brings some love to Superman. I know that a lot of people do love Superman, and maybe he doesn't get as many books as others. So, hey, I'm not buying an oversaturated Batman title at this point. I'm buying into a Superman title for all the Superman fans. So, yeah, I really like the idea of this book, and I like some of the covers. Mark Waid is a legend, so being able to see him work with kind of more of a young gun in Dan Mora, I'm excited to see what they're going to be pumping out. I don't really know where they're going. It seemed like they kind of took a rebrand, because I think Batman and Superman was still going on this title. I don't exactly know, but hey, it's going to be new. It's going to have Batman. It's going to have Superman. I think it could be fun, and I think that Dan Mora's art is worth the price of admission alone. And as I'm just glancing at the blurb, I see that the Doom Patrol might be in this. So boom, boom. I'm even more sold on this title. But hey, let me know what you think about Batman Superman's World Finest. Do you think it's just another oversaturated Batman book, or do you think it's kind of a original staple that is going to help Superman get a little bit more people coming in for them? And my next number one for you is Slumber #1. And I know that you probably hear me say things like, I don't read a lot of blurbs because I like to be surprised. Well, the one unfortunate thing about Image Comics is that they have been releasing so many different number ones over the years that for me, it has been almost too much to be able to have to try and get every single number one. So what I try and do is I read the blurbs for these, because it really helps me kind of focus on which ones I want to get. Normally, if there is a, creative team that I really like, I'll just kind of maybe pull the trigger because I'm used to what they write and I kind of know what to expect. But with a book like this, I looked at it, I was not too familiar with the creative team, but let's read the blurb here for you to see what this book is about. So Nathan Fox Stetson is a nightmare hunter, a dream detective. She runs a shoddy back alley business where she helps clients sleep at night by entering their dreams and killing their nightmares. But Stetton's past came back to haunt her when she tracks down a literal living monster, a serial killer that murdered people in their sleep. Slumber is an ongoing series from the twisted minds of writer Tyler Burton Smith from Kung Fu Fury and Child's Play, and rising star Vanessa Cardinale. I am really bad at pronouncing that last word, but I think I did a pretty good job reading most of the blurb up until that point. So this sounds like it could be a ton of fun. Is this going to be like, is the serial killer a more like, is it going to be more similar to somebody like Freddy, where they're more, I guess, like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're more supernatural, or is it going to be more of a serial killer that just somehow unsupernaturally gets in people's dreams and goes? I'm excited for this. So this first cover definitely kind of reminded me of like the Vinyl's Plastic vibe, and I really like this idea of a night, somebody going into people's dream and killing their literal nightmares. It did mention that this is ongoing, so I don't know how great this will be. Is like a long premise, but hey, I never question these kind of things because unlike me, I'm not a super creative person when it comes to writing and creating stories, so I'll leave it in the hands of the professionals. And yeah, we'll give this first issue a try. Let me know if that sounds like something interesting to you, and would you rather have a more, supernatural style serial killer, or more just, generalized serial killer for a book like this? Let me know. And the final book for this week is Rad Wraith #1. This is from Black Caravan imprint of Scout Comics. And let me read the blurb for you because I think it'll really explain how fun I think this story is going to be. Rad Wraith is a story of a young skateboarder named Grom who falls victim to a prank gone wrong and dies at the bottom of a half pipe. When his killers don't know is that the half pipe was built on cursed land, and now the curse is coming for them. This February, it's time to skate or die. Regular edition has a wraparound cover. Wraparound covers are awesome. But yeah, I know that for a while, Scout stuff was getting weird when it was showing into League of Comics Geek. I think that from when I checked previews, they've been pretty close lately of what is coming out, and this is coming from writer Tristan Gallagher, which I have not heard of, and artist Christian Debari. So I read the ash can of this, and it seemed like kind of like this fun-loving concept, skateboarding wraith demon coming to, revenge themselves. I don't know that this book is going to be something that is going to last like a crazy impact on society, but I think it'll be something fun. Occasionally I need a book that is a little bit more lighthearted in between some of the more serious stuff that I read, and I think this could be a book that could maybe fill that hole. Maybe there's a possibility that this is, this does get deep, and this does, but I just love the cover. I think it's pretty fantastic. As a kid who used to skateboard, I think that this could be a pretty fun concept. And most of the books coming out on Black Caravan, I have very much enjoyed. It is Scout's kind of more horror line, I guess. And yeah, I think this is going to be a solid book. I did read the Ashcan and enjoy it. So let me know your thoughts on Rad Wraith. And as I mentioned, those were my most anticipated comics for March 16th, 2022. Let me know what you're most anticipated for. I mean, the one thing I really enjoy is hearing what other people like and they want to read. So if you have anything that you think I'm missing, if you think there's a number one out there that just sounds great to you, let me know. I miss a lot of stuff. I like to make these videos because I think a little bit outside of the box, and I usually target books that, a lot of other people may not be talking about. So, in that nature, sometimes I miss some stuff that is like very bold and in your face available at that time. I know too, the way that I put these out, sometimes stuff gets shifted and moved. So even there's sometimes where there's something that I'm really excited about, but it ends up getting pushed forward, and I actually miss it, or I talked about it a previous week and it got pushed back. So yeah, let me know what you're thinking, what you like from this week. And yeah, I'm Cole, and thanks for coming around. Peace. My most anticipated comics for March 16th, 2022.